So, is the overall question, you want me to help you try and break free from the lust?
Yeah,
So, we're going to start at the foundation. Would you say you're a sinner or are you righteous?
I'm definitely a sinner.
So, you were born into sin, right?
Yeah,
So, do you think you became a sinner, when you messed up, or you became a sinner from the jump, right?
yeah,
Right away, right? You were born into sin. You were shaped in iniquity. So,
yeah.
the second part of Romans 5:19 says, through one man's obedience, many are made righteous. Who is that talking about?
Jesus?
Jesus, right?
Yeah,
So Jesus made you righteous. So have you ever seen Paul talk about, we're dead to our old self? 2 Corinthians 5:17 says, we are new creatures now. So he says, it's no longer I who live, but Christ in me. So, you know how we're called to be reborn again, to make it to heaven in John 3:5? You have to be
yeah,
reborn. So that's for a reason. So before, we were in a sinful nature. So just because the reason you're struggling with, lust is not because you're choosing it, it's because it's your nature. So you're not becoming more of a sinner when you fall into your lust. You're already a sinner at nature, and the byproduct of that is sinful actions. Does that make sense? So you're struggling
yeah,
with your lust because your nature is sin. So you're not abnormal for battling this lust, bro. You're not abnormal for struggling with lust. So we have to change the identity. We have to be reborn again. So when you're reborn again and you're reborn into Christ, it says we're dead to the power of sin and alive in God through Christ. It also says in 2 Corinthians that he being Jesus was made sin for us when he was no sin, so we might be the righteousness of God. Hebrews 10:14, the most encouraging verse ever for me. It changed my life. Listen carefully. For by one offering, what's that one offering?
Jesus,
He has perfected. Who is he perfected?
me, us.
Me, you, everyone. Forever. Forever. Forever must be eternity, right? Because this world's not forever. So forever must mean forever, right?
Yeah,
Them that are sanctified. What does sanctified mean?
I'm not sure.
All good, all good. Basically means holy. So Jesus, through the cross, has made me, you, and everyone perfect and holy forever. But the problem is, we focus on our sin and we focus on trying to stop it. So I put it like this: does a bad tree try to produce bad fruit, or it just naturally produces bad fruit?
It naturally produces bad
Remember
fruit.
what I said. If you're stuck in your sinful nature, part of the seed of Adam, just because you try to stop lusting, are you going to be able to stop lusting?
I guess not.
No. Well, no, because it hasn't been working for you, right?
No.
Exactly, right? So how do we stop the lust? How do we fix it? We have to change the identity. So remember what I said. You're perfect and you're righteous now, not because of anything you did, but because of what Jesus has already done for you. So the problem is not your lust. The problem is not your sinful actions. The problem is you're trusting your old nature that was a part of the seed of Adam, which is a sinner. You have to trust your new nature that is made righteous and perfect in Christ. Because just like a bad tree doesn't try to produce bad fruit, if you're righteous and perfect, you're a good tree. So does a good tree have to try to produce good fruit, or does it just produce good fruit?
Yeah, it just produces good fruit.
Exactly, right? So in the same sense that we struggle with sin because of our nature, when we become righteous in nature, we're going to produce righteous things, not because we're trying, but because it's natural. So I'll ask you again, are you righteous or are you a sinner?
I guess righteous.
You're righteous, right? And